सुधागड एज्युकेशन सोसायटीचे पूर्व प्राथमिक, प्राथमिक, माध्यमिक व उच्च माध्यमिक विद्यालय कळंबोली मराठी, हिंदी, इंग्रजी, उर्दू माध्यम यांच्या सौजन्याने शैक्षणिक व्हिडिओमध्ये आपलं सर्वांचं स्वागत आहे.
Last lecture we discussed about the moment of inertia of certain bodies or certain objects which are having regular geometric shapes. Means theoretically it is possible to calculate the moment of inertia of such bodies which are having regular geometric shapes. Means for example we say ring, disc, spheres, both solid and hollow, as a cylinder. This moment of inertia can be calculated about their axis of symmetry. I mean, look here, suppose we consider the disc, last time we discussed. Suppose we want to calculate the moment of inertia of it. We take the symmetric axis. Where is this symmetric axis? It is passing through the center and perpendicular to its plane. Then we can calculate the moment of inertia of this disk about this axis. Okay? But with the help of simple integration method. But sometimes the situation is there. The axis is not a symmetric. In simple transformations, this axis is perpendicular to the plane at any point, not at the center, or this axis is parallel to the symmetric axis. Just like as it is parallel here, tangent to the rim, parallel here or along the diameter. Then question arises how we can calculate the moment of inertia about the axis which is parallel or perpendicular to the symmetric axis. Then with the help of a principle of parallel axis or theorem of parallel axis and perpendicular axis, it is possible to calculate the moment of inertia. Now we discuss about a principle of parallel axis, you can say theorem of parallel axis according to book. Then students are face a difficulty to state the definition of theorem of parallel axis or principle. Then some trick is used by me. Here I am taking the formula for it and we go through certain terms involved in it. Here we go through IO. Say we want to calculate the moment of inertia of this body about any axis. Say we take any axis, means we take this axis here. Any axis we consider, or here you can take this axis. Suppose we take this axis here. Means this body is rotated about this axis like X. Now let this moment of inertia of the body or moment of inertia of the object, for body object is used in your book all over, means moment of inertia of object about any axis. Say it is IO. Look the terms. Thereafter we take another axis. We take another axis. This axis is having two things. It is parallel to first axis, means given axis, and passing through center of mass. Passing through center of mass means symmetric axis we considered. Then we take another axis which is parallel to first axis and passing through center of mass. So we can take here IC is moment of inertia of this body about this axis. Means look, what is IO we considered? The moment of inertia of a object about any axis. IC moment of inertia of object about an axis parallel to given axis and passing through center of mass, or you can say moment of inertia of a object about a parallel axis passing through center of mass. Here m is the mass of the body. M is the mass of the body, and h is the distance between two axes. Meaning h is distance between two axes. Now let us see, again we revise these terms. What is IO? It is the moment of inertia. What is IO we consider? It is the moment of inertia of a object about any axis. What is IC? IC is the moment of inertia of an object about a parallel axis passing through the center of mass. What is m here? Mass of the body. And what is h here? Distance between two axes. Then with the help of this mathematical statement, we can determine the moment of inertia. Simply I am giving the numbers. For IO, I am taking a number 1, equal to sign, I am taking number 2, IC, I am taking number 4, plus 3, 6, for M, into for 5, and here H, 8, and number 7, for 2. Now, sequentially we consider, what is the first thing? IO, means moment of inertia of a object about any axis. What is number 2? Is equal to, or you can say is, or is equal to, or you can say is, or is defined as, whatever may be the word you use. Is equal to, is, or is defined as. Number 3, sum. Plus sign indicate the sum. Sum. And then there is a sum of two things then. Number 4, moment of inertia of a body or moment of inertia of an object about a parallel axis passing through center of mass. Number 5, product. Multiplication sign is there. Product I am saying. Product of m. Number 6, mass of the body. Number 7, square. Number 8, distance between two axes. Again revise the terms. Number 1, IO, moment of inertia of a object about any axis. Number 2, is, or is defined as, or is equal to. Number 3, sum of. Number 4, I see moment of inertia about a parallel axis passing through center of mass. Number 5, product of. Number 6, mass of the body. Number 7, square of. Number 8, distance between two axes. Then I am giving a total statement instead of counting the numbers. Then it is easy to understand you. Moment of inertia of an object about any axis. Moment of inertia of an object about any axis is, or is equal to, the sum of its moment of inertia about a parallel axis passing through center of mass and product of mass of the object and square of distance between them. Again revise the definition. Moment of inertia of a object, rigid object you can also say. Moment of inertia of a rigid object about any axis is equal to, or you say is, the sum of its moment of inertia about a parallel axis passing through center of mass and product of mass of the object and square of distance between two objects. Simple thing is there. Here in book they suggested IC's moment of inertia about an axis parallel to given axis, or you can directly say moment of inertia of an object about a parallel axis and passing through center of mass. Whatever maybe you can use. Now another trick is also given. This is the simplest way to remember or memorize the definition. Another way is also there. I am taking this way. Look here. You know the terms. You must know the terms in the formula. I.O. mi of an object about any axis. I.O. mi of an object about any axis. IC mi of an object about a parallel axis passing through center of mass. What is m? Mass of the object. And h, distance between two axes. Again same thing. I.O. You have to write mi of an object about any axis. IC mi of an object about a parallel axis passing through center of mass. Thereafter m, mass of the object, and h, distance between two axes. Then look the things. Here I am substituting certain words in the certain words between these things. Means here I am taking here is equal to sum of. First thing, is equal to sum of. Here I am putting here and product of and square of. Then see or read it. Mi of an object about any axis is equal to sum of, or is sum of. You can say is sum of or is equal to sum of. Mi of an object about a parallel axis passing through the center of mass and product of mass of the object and square of distance between two axes. In this way we can easily memorize the definition. But when you take this, that means look the things, all words are important. Sum of, product of, square of. If any word is missing, then you get a 0 marks. Almost students got a 0 marks for that definition. So take care and remember this trick. This trick or another trick directly by formula as you want easy. Thereafter we go through a proof of this theorem. Theorem of parallel axis. Here we take a rigid body of mass m. Here we take a rigid body of mass m. Let MOP is any axis which is passing through point O. MOP is any axis which is passing through point O. And ACB is another axis which is passing through center of mass. Which is passing through center of mass. Then, and this axis is at distance h from the given axis or axis MOP. Mean OC is h. Not necessary to explain it. See the figure and explain it simply. Thereafter, to prove this theorem, consider any one small element dm which is at point D or which is situated at point D. Join OD and CD. Okay, it is good thing. Join OD and CD. Draw DN perpendicular to OC produce. Draw DN perpendicular to OC produce. Then, from the geometry of the figure, moment of inertia of this small element whose mass is dm about MOP axis. How we can take it? DO square into dm. DO square into dm. But when we integrate it, then we get the moment of inertia of a whole object. Moment of inertia of a whole object means moment of inertia of a object. Look here, moment of inertia of a object about MOP. IO equal to integration of DO square dm. Similarly, we can take here moment of inertia of a object about ACB is CD square or DC square dm, because this perpendicular distance is DC, or DC square dm. It is given here. Thereafter, with the help of this right angle triangle ODN, then this ODN, this moment of inertia IO equals to integration of DO square dm. Mean it is the moment of inertia of this rigid body about any axis MOP. Okay? Thereafter, but we know that this DO is nothing but the DO can be taken as simple mathematics we consider. Here I am taking this mathematical part. DO square equals to dn square plus NO square. DO square equals to dn square plus NO square. How we can take it? With the help of Pythagoras theorem. Simply we use a Pythagoras theorem, dn square plus NO square. Okay? Thereafter, but we know that this NO is nothing but the NC plus CO. Look here, NO is nothing but the NC plus CO. Means NC plus CO square. Then how we can take this NC plus CO square? Look here, dn square plus NC square plus 2NCCO plus CO square dm. Then here we considered, but axis ACB moment of inertia is IC equals to integration of DC square dm about an axis. Now next, here we go through. Then substituting the values, here we go through another thing. dn square plus cn square is nothing but the dn square plus cn square. Look here, dn square plus nc square. Look here, dn square plus nc square is nothing but the dc square. dc square, and then substituting this value, integration of dc square plus 2nc h. H is what? H is nothing but the CO. CO is nothing but the H. Look here, this CO is substituted at H, and thereafter CO square is taken as a H square dm. Okay? Thereafter we go through integration of DS, separate the integrations. Integration of DC square into dm plus 2H NC into dm. 2H NC into dm. Thereafter you can take here H. Why we take outside the integration H? H is a constant, so you take outside it. Or here H square dm is common. But integration of dm means sum of masses of all small elements. When we take sum of masses of all small elements, we get the mass of this rigid body, and it is nothing but the m. And integration of dc square dm. Integration of dc square dm means it is the moment of inertia about ACB axis, means it is IC. So you can take here integration of dc square dm IC, and integration of dm equal to m. Look here, but look here, this nc is the distance of point n from the center of mass. From the center of mass. And we know that one thing should be there. Any mass distribution is symmetric about center of mass. Then by definition of center of mass, we can see here integration of NCDM equal to 0. Directly you can take. Another method is also there. I am taking your x-axis, your y-axis, and center of the xy axis is situated at origin of xy plane. So x and y are the 0. Then by definition, I can treat here zoom out कसं करू. Now here we go through another thing. Here I am taking x-axis, y-axis, x is situated, and by definition, center of mass xcm equals to integration of nc dm upon m. But x is 0, then integration of nc dm is equal to 0. Another way we consider, but here in your book simply they take any mass distribution is symmetric about the center of mass. So you can directly take here integration of nc dm equals to 0. No doubt, integration of nc dm is 0, means this total term is 0. Here dm is, integration of dm is the total mass. So you can take here IO equal to IC plus mh square. And hence this theorem is proved. Simple thing is there, simple mathematical steps are there. Here we use a Pythagoras theorem. See the steps and understood it. Nothing is there in the expression. Only definition is critical. But that means in this expression, suppose this question is asked for 3 marks. Then this definition carries a 1 mark. This figure carries half mark. Explanation carries half mark. And last term carries half mark, and in between half mark is given. Okay. Thereafter, no necessity to revise it. Rewind and read it. Thereafter, we go through another thing. Principle of perpendicular axis. Principle of perpendicular axis. Here actually it is a 3-dimensional case. Principle of perpendicular axis. Let us say here we consider plane laminar object or plane sheet. No doubt it is rigid. Plane sheet, any plane sheet. It is called as a laminar object. And we want to calculate the moment of inertia of this laminar object. About which axis? About an axis perpendicular to its plane, like x. Means this lamina is rotated about this axis perpendicular to its plane. Any plane, here, or it can be rotated. How many ways are there? There are infinite ways it can rotate about a perpendicular axis. In this way, or in this way, or here, or here. Suppose we have to calculate mi of this lamina about a perpendicular axis. I am taking this axis, here this axis. Say it is the z axis supposed to be. Then what we have to do? I am taking another 2 axes. What are the specialities? I am taking moment of inertia about 2 axes. What are the specialities of these 2 axes? Look here. 3 things about these 2 axes. First thing is, both axes are lying in the plane of the sheet. Means say it is the x-axis. It can be rotated, this plane sheet can be rotated in this way, in this. And here is the y-axis. This can be rotated in this way. Means we take 2 axis, or we take the moment of inertia as about two axes. What are the specialities of these two axes? Both axes are lying in the plane of the laminar object. Here and here. Another speciality. They are mutually perpendicular to each other. In Cartesian coordinate system, we consider then it is the x-axis and then y-axis, and we know that they are perpendicular. Means both axes are perpendicular to each other or mutually perpendicular to each other. And third thing is there, they are concurrent with third axis. They are concurrent with third axis. Mean third axis mean which axis? Which moment of inertia we have to determine. Mean about z axis. Mean all three axes are concurrent. Then you say that what is the concurrent? Means all three axes are passing through the single point in the plane of the lamina. Now, understood the concept again. Again I am saying these things. What we have to do? Ask the questions, give the answers. Then you get a definition. Simply. What we have to do? You have to calculate the moment of inertia of laminar object. About which axis? Small question, small answers are there. About which axis? About an axis perpendicular to its plane. About an axis perpendicular to its plane. Then how much this moment of inertia? It is the sum of. How much it is? It is the sum of moment of inertia. It is the sum of moment of inertia. About which axis? About two mutually perpendicular axes. About two mutually perpendicular axes. First thing, both axes are lying in the plane of the lamina. Both axes are lying in the plane of the lamina. And third thing, both axes are concurrent with the third axis, or they are intersect at a point where perpendicular axis cuts the lamina or passing through the lamina. Simple thing is there. Then we are going definition simply. Then moment of inertia of a plane sheet or plane laminar object. Moment of inertia of a laminar object about an axis perpendicular to its plane. About an axis perpendicular to its plane is equal to, or is equal to, or is, you can say, is sum of its moment of inertia about two mutually perpendicular axes lying in the plane of the lamina and concurrent with, lying in the plane of the lamina, and all three axes are concurrent. Simply. Or these two axes are concurrent with third axis. You can say. But in your book, they suggested all three axes are being concurrent. Simply. Again I am taking the moment of inertia of a laminar object. Moment of inertia of a laminar object about an axis perpendicular to its plane is equal to sum of its moment of inertia about two mutually perpendicular axes lying in the plane of the lamin object and all the three axes being concurrent. Okay? Then we have to see the proof of it. Proof is very simple. Here we considered, here also you can take it, this two-dimensional figure is also allowed and it is very convenient to understand. You can refer this figure or you can refer this figure. Any figure you can refer it. But you have to mention here third axis is perpendicular to the plane. Here already three-dimensional case is given, third axis is given. Consider a plane laminar object which is rotating, which can be capable to rotate about three mutually perpendicular axes. Say x-axis, say y-axis, and say z axis. Now, let Ix, Iy and Iz be the moment of inertia about this axis. Then prove this theorem. Consider this lamina is made up of number of small objects, small elements. Let us consider any one small element of mass dm and situated at point P here. Here, or you can say here also. Situated at point P, whose coordinates are taken as x and y. Draw perpendiculars PM and PN. Join OP. Then note the thing. What is moment of inertia of this lamina about x-axis? Look here. It can be rotated in this way. Means this small element dm is situated at distance y. So you can take here Ix equal to integration of y square. Look here, contradictory part. Ix, it is the moment of inertia about the x-axis. And this perpendicular distance of that point from the axis of rotation is y square. Along the y-axis, means here, this distance is there. Means Pm is a perpendicular distance. Similarly, moment of inertia of this small element about y-axis can be taken as Iy equals to x square dm. Means this distance is OM is a, or NP you can say, it is x square dm. Look here, x square dm, and thereafter, from the simple mathematics, Pythagoras we considered. Here right angle triangle is there, OPM, then OP square equals to OM square plus PM square. OM square plus PM square. Simply we can take it. And thereafter, or here in the figure also you can say, this OP square equals to OM square plus ON square. Actually, it is a three-dimensional case, so it is a case to understand. So I am taking a two-dimensional case simply. Now, this OP square is nothing but the OP square dm. Integration about z axis is OP square dm. It is Iz, which is equal to integration of y square dm plus integration of x square, means y square plus x square dm. And thereafter, you can take here, separate the integral, integration of y square dm, integration of x square dm. So you can take here Iz equal to Ix plus Iy. Hence the proof. Very simple manner, you can prove this theorem. I mean, proof is easy, but definition is quite difficult to understand. Okay, I think this is all about a parallel axis theorem and perpendicular axis theorem. Hope you understand it. Then with the help of these theorems, you have to calculate the moment of inertia of symmetric bodies about parallel and perpendicular axis. Suppose we consider this disk. Suppose we take the moment of inertia. We know the moment of inertia about an axis passing through center. What is it? It is mr square by 2. Then we want to calculate the moment of inertia about an axis tangent to the rim. I mean, both axes are parallel to each other. Or we want to calculate the moment of inertia about a diameters. Then how your moment of inertia about a tangent in the plane of the disk. You can calculate the moment of inertia of the sphere also, or a cylinder also, or any other objects. But this moment of inertia about symmetric axis are given in your book, and you have to practice it. How we can use a parallel axis theorem and perpendicular axis theorem to calculate the moment of inertia about another axis which are parallel or perpendicular to the symmetric axis. Okay, that's all. Thank you.